and welcome to Paper Plate Julie K. I'm here today designing for Tsunami Rose, and hopefully you guys all know who Tsunami Rose is, but if not, she does sell digital kits that you can use in your paper crafting. Most specifically, she makes her digital kits for journal making, but you can easily use these for cards or mini albums, scrapbook papers, and paper embellishments, just to name a couple of other ideas how you can use them. And today I'm working with the French classified kit. Daisy does have it in a regular size, which when you print it off, it prints off on an 8.5 by 11 sheet of paper, but she also has a traveler's notebook size. You can buy some pieces to go with it, like she has the ephemera kit, and she also just has some background papers too that go along with the kit that you can purchase. And so I am working with kind of all of those. I did go ahead and decide to work with a traveler's notebook size because I was going to make an insert for my traveler's notebook, but it ended up being kind of bulky, as you guys can kind of see. So what I decided to do is just create a little bit bigger cover and make it its own journal. So this is, the inside is the traveler's notebook size, but again, I created a little bit bigger cover for it just because it was too big to add to my traveler's notebook. But my finished journal did measure 5.25 by 8.25. And for the cover, I did use a file folder, a recycled file folder, and the back side of it, or the inside, I used some scrapbooking paper, and this side I used one of her little background papers. She has like 3 or 4 in that you can purchase, and they're really pretty. This one just has some roses in the background. She has one with like hot air balloons, and another one that I used on the backs of some of the pages. So some really pretty paper. This kit, of course, is French themed. So those of you guys who love French, this kit is beautiful. It's also shabby chic. It has all the shabby chic colors, the pinks and the mint greens and the blues and the yellow, just some of the nice pastel colors. And it also is a little bit vintage because it has like some vintage advertising in it, some Paris themed vintage advertising, along with some beautiful like women from that time period, like Marie Antoinette, so from that time period. And so for the cover, again, I just layered one of her papers down from the kit that I printed off. She does have a journal cover that you can use that's called French Classified, but she also had some pieces that just said French Classified that I went ahead and cut out and layered up. So hopefully you guys can kind of see that. I just put some foam tape on it, and I inked my edges. I inked the edges throughout the whole journal with a mint green. I did not tea dye or coffee dye any of my pages in this one. I just felt that it was pretty standing alone, so I did not tea dye or coffee dye anything. I just felt like the pretty pinks and the greens and the blues stood out better when there was the white contrast to it. I did go ahead and take some of the colors of the kits and just add some paper flowers in the corner that matched. As far as my spine goes, I did wrap a piece of like material around it, and then I added some pretty trim, and then this little flower trim on the outside of it. My backside is plain. It's just the paper from the kit. And I used eyelet closure for this, and I tied it shut with some seam binding that I got from my friend Shonda. I'm recycling it. She had gifted me some things and had it wrapped in this pretty pink seam binding, so I am reusing it. And then before I get going, I just wanted to thank a couple people. Shonda, who's Slim Cards, my friend Sherry, and then also Grace, who's Gracie21 here on YouTube. They had gifted me some really pretty paper that coordinated very well with this French classified kit, and so I did use some of that to supplement in here. And for this kit, journal, I did do something a little bit different. Usually I print everything front and back. This time I printed some things front and back, but then I also printed a lot of things, and I went ahead and I cut it up in pieces, and I did layering on a lot of the pages with the pieces. So that's a little bit different, just some layering stuff for me. And so to start off with, when you open it up, I did create a little pocket here. This was a piece actually from an envelope that was in the ephemera kit that I just cut up and used that little palace piece. I stuck a journal card in the pocket. Here's one of those beautiful images of the kit. And there are some lines on there, so you can journal on that if you want to. I just left that one plain. And then on the back side, here's one of the other pretty background papers that I used. I used this one throughout because I really like this one. Here I did take a piece, and I think this came off of one of the journaling pages, and I just cut it up to make the pocket. This is another piece from the kit. She has a lot of French words, so I did do that throughout the whole journal, you'll see, with the eyelash trim behind it. I just stuck a journaling card in that pocket and then a stamped image that I like. So again, here on this first page, you can kind of see I did some of that layering. This is one of the pieces, I think, from the ephemera kit that I just put here. I tried to make sure that when I did this, that I had spots that you could journal on. So you can, this one does have lines, so you can journal over it. But you can just see I just layered behind there with, there's a sticker and a doily and some scrap paper, and then another piece that I had left over from something else, and so I just stuck that there with some eyelash trim. And again, my pages are white, and I just inked the edges. Again, just some more layering with parts of the kit. That was a little piece from the ephemera kit that I added, and I layered some scrapbooking paper behind it. Here's another piece from her kit that says Eiffel Tower. I just thought that was appropriate with that image from her kit, so I stuck it there. Some more layering of different pieces from her kit, and I created a little pocket. You can journal right here, and then on the back of this little journal card you can journal on. So again, if there wasn't a lot of space to journal on, I tried to stick a journal card in it just to make sure that there was journaling spaces. Again, just a lot of layering right here with different pieces from her kit. I added some lined paper right there for journaling. She does has a couple envelopes, and this is one of them. And I just stuck a little journal card inside of there that I cut out and made and stamped on. And I just created a little pocket right there for it. Another page from her kit, and I just stuck some trim across it to add a little more interest. And there's, of course, the trim on the side. I didn't add trim to every page, but I did it every few pages. I added the trim just to hang off. This one I added a journal card, and I just made a little flip out. There's some washi tape. So you can journal then on the back side, and then here's a piece from the ephemera kit that you can journal on. On this page I just left as is from her kit. It was just a nice journaling spot. Here I did some more paper layering, again with different pieces from the kit. And the ledger paper back here is just some leftover scrap paper that I had left over. So you can journal up here. And then I stuck the postcard that came with the ephemera kit, I believe, so that you can journal on the back side of that. So that one was a pocket. And here's one of her pretty pages in the kit right here. And I left that one as is. There is lines on that page, so you can journal on that one. Just layered some scrapbooking paper with a piece of her ephemera. Again, there are spots to journal. Another image, I believe that one's Marie Antoinette, and I stuck ephemera piece in there that you can journal on the back. You can kind of see I layered one of the little scrap papers. I tried to use everything up that I printed, so I did glue down some stuff on the back sides of journaling cards and did some stamping just to use it all up so that I didn't have any scraps left over. And some stamping. On this one I created a little belly band out of one of the ephemera pieces, or a piece left from one of her papers. It's so hard to remember because I just cut everything up that I knew I wasn't going to leave as is, and I just set it next to me as I was working on the journal, and so I would just go ahead and layer things all over the journal. And then I also went through my paper scrap pile and just pulled out any paper that matched the colors in her kit. And so that's kind of what I did throughout the journal. Some more layering again. another piece from her kit, a couple pieces from her kit. And just stuck spots to journal inside there. This was a die cut that I had that I made a pocket and I stuck a little tag in it. Background piece from her kit. I think this was one of my favorite background pieces besides the cover that I used, the background paper. There's the middle of the journal, and I just stuck some scalloped circles from some scrap paper that I punched out in the middle there, just to hide my ends of the string. Just some more paper piecing together with some different ephemera. Did a little stamping up in the corner. Again, just some paper piecing. Here you can kind of see I used some different pieces from her kit and layered them, but there is spots left here to journal around. Another fun little piece from her kit, or this, I don't remember if this was a piece from the ephemera kit or if I cut this out from one of the papers. I'm not sure after I printed it out. Like I said, I cut everything out and just set it next to me and just played with it. I know this is part of her kit, and so is this. And so I did create another flip here, so this flips open so you can journal on both sides. And again, I tried to use up all my scraps, so you can see this little background image right here, the balloons. That was just a little scrap that I had left over, so I just edged it right there. Just trying to use up all the papers. This was one of the papers in the kit with all these beautiful women and gentlemen dressed up in their fancy clothes. And so I did cut off one strip here that I used in another spot in the journal. And so right here I just created a little pocket out of that and put some journaling cards in there. Here's one of the papers that I kind of left as is just because it had a nice spot to journal. I just went ahead and edged it with some of the trim, and this is a little sticker from my stash that I added there. Here's another one that I layered with different pieces. I know this piece right here was part of some of the paper, and then this was part of the ephemera kit, and so I just layered them next to each other, put the rickrack there. I stamped up there. I did add a little journal card, one of her little words, so you can journal right there. And then I created that into a little tuck spot, and so I created a tag with some leftover scrap paper and stuck that in there for journaling. So here is that other paper strip that I was talking about of the pretty people that were in this kit, all dressed up fancy. And I just layered some different pieces from the kit so you can journal up there. Again, another piece from her kit that I cut and just layered behind it with some different pieces, scrap papers and a couple stickers, some stamping, but you can journal right here. On this one, what I decided to do on the paper is I just cut it in half. This is one of her papers in the digital kit, so I cut it in half. And I added the trims right there, but I did just I glued the whole top part down, but here I just glued it so that it was like a pocket. So it looks like it matches, it's all one page, but it actually is a pocket right there. And again, I just stuck a tag that you can journal on. This was one of the pages in the journal in her digital kit. And so I did cut it down just a little bit because I wanted to make it into another flap. And so this does flip up. And then I backed it with some scrapbooking paper that was light enough that you could still journal on. And then down here is another piece of the ephemera kit that you can journal on. And then of course the background piece right here is from the kit also. And then there's the last page, and I just left that as is. I just thought those images of from the front and the back were just so pretty that I just left them. And I just created another pocket back here with a journaling card. I believe another piece from the kit that I just cut up and stuck there. And then there is my back. So that is my journal that I created using the French classifieds from Tsunami Rose. I will leave all of Tsunami Rose's information below in the description box. Again, she does have an Etsy store. I will also link Her name is Daisy that owns the store, and I will link her Facebook page so that you guys can check out her groups on Facebook. But then she also has a YouTube channel, and so I will go ahead and link that so you guys can follow her along on YouTube if you're interested. She does do a lot of tutorials on junk journals, and you can kind of follow along with her as she makes junk journals. So they're kind of fun to watch. So make sure you go check her out. If you have any questions or comments, please leave them below. Otherwise, I wish everybody a happy day and happy crafting.